Welcome back, everyone, to this YouTube channel. Hope I met you well. We'll be looking at another part of game theory today, talking about obtaining Nash equilibrium by iteration of um, strictly dominated strategies. All right, and before now, I think I've explained what a strictly dominated strategy is. A strategy whose payoff is the worst of all the payoffs from different strategies, like from the alternative strategies of a particular player. So when a player has a couple of strategies and then there's one of it that gives him or her the least payoff of all the strategies, regardless of what the opponent is doing, and that is, um, a strictly dominated strategy. And then we've also explained strictly dominant strategy to us. Strategy that gives a player the best payoff, like the maximum payoff, among his own set of strategies, all right, regardless of what the other player does. Okay, so what this class is all about is we try to get a Nash equilibrium by finding out what the strictly dominated strategies are, eliminating them, and keep on reducing the game. So if you have a question on exam, the question would tell you use the iteration method to find the Nash equilibrium of the following game, detailing the process. So you have to be detailing the process because you're going to like do it. There's not a problem. So the first question here says define the time strictly dominant strategies. Now, does either company have a strictly dominant strategy? If so, which company and which strategy? So looking at this, I don't think it should be a difficult thing. This should not be a difficult thing for us to do now. I don't need to be rewriting the strategies outside at this point. So we just know that we have two companies, MTN and Airtel, in the Nigerian telecommunication industry. So they are thinking of putting a bonus, a way of doing a promo to encourage sales on three different type of recharge cards: 200 naira, 400 naira, and 8,000 naira. So two of them are considering that kind of a thing. So they are now like, okay, what's recharge card should they put the promo on to get maximum profit? At the end of the day, all of these things is still falls back to the companies and their level of profitability. So, what strategy should we do, considering that the other firm is also going to respond? All right. So yeah, let's start. For Excel, Airtel has three strategies, same as MTN. Airtel can choose 200, can choose 400, can choose 1,000. So looking at this, 2,000 is better than 1,800, better than 1,500. So 2,000 here for this person. Then 1,600 is better than 1,500, better than 1,002. So 1,600. 800 is better. 800 is not as good as 900, right? All right. So in this case, 900 would have been better here. So we see that Airtel does not have a dominant strategy. Like 400 naira was already looking like the dominant strategy here, but until we get to this point and see that um if MTN should go for a 1,000 naira recharge card, it is better for Airtel to go for a 200 naira recharge card. So because they're going to get a payoff of 900 at that point. So Airtel doesn't have a dominant strategy. So Airtel does not have a strictly dominant strategy. Airtel has no strictly dominant strategy. How about MTN? So MTN strategies are compared this way, this way, this way. So here, 2,000 is better than 1,800, better than 1,800. Let me just erase this. 2,000 is better here. The 1,600 is better than 1,500, better than 1,600 is better than 1,500, better than 1,002, 1,600. 800 is not as good as 900, right? All right, so in this case, 900 is better. So MTN also, MTN has no strictly dominant strategy. So both of them do not have a strictly dominant strategy. Um, so just confirm. Anyway, that's it. So let's look at the next question. It says define a time strictly dominated strategy. Define it strategy that gives a player the worst payoff among his own set of strategies, considering the different moves that the other player in the game, does or takes. All right. So you define it, then now says if so, which company? So define the time strictly dominated strategies. Does each company have a strictly dominated strategy? So is there a strategy that is like really really bad for the two of them? Then it says if so, which company and which strategies are strictly dominated and are strictly dominated by. So we are going to like break the question. So first is um define it. So then does each company have a strictly dominated strategy? So now let's look at this. Is there a strategy that is really really bad for Airtel that Airtel will never choose? Okay. Now let's look at Airtel. 1000, this is the list here. All right. So these two are better than 15. These two are better than 12. These two are better than 0. All right. 1008, 2000, they are both better than 15 here. 1516 are both better than 12. 900, 800 are both better than this. Or let's go one after the other. 18 is better than this. 15 is better than this. 900 is better than this. Now 2000 is better than this. 16 is better than this. 800 is better than this. So of course, Airtel has a strictly dominated strategy. Let's call this one A. So Airtel's 1000 naira strategy is it is the worst strictly dominated strategy. Okay, then it is dominated. The question says, um, each company, do they have a strictly dominated strategy, right? Then what are those strategies dominated by? So I think first is, I should have said, first is yes, Airtel has a strictly dominated strategy because that's the first question. Okay, does any of the company? So yes, Airtel has a strictly dominated strategy. Let me still write it. So that would have been my I. It should be I. So yes, Airtel has a strictly dominated strategy because we must understand how to answer questions. Strategy. So manage that space for me like that. All right. So then we know that Airtel's 1000 naira strategy is a strictly dominated strategy. Then it is dominated by. All right. So the Airtel's, sorry, not the Airtel's, please. Airtel's 1000 naira 1000 naira strategy is dominated by um, both 200 naira and 400 naira recharge cards, 100 naira recharge strategies. So two of them are the ones that are really dominating this guy. Now let us look at MTN. Does MTN also have a strictly dominated strategy? 1812. Okay, 2000 is better than 18. Is also better than 18. Then 16 is better than 15. 16 is better than 12. Then 800 is not as good as 900, but 800 is better than 0. So 2000 is better than 18. 16 is better than 15. 800 is not as good as 900. So like this is not a super dominated strategy. But yeah, 2000 is better than 18. 16 is better than 12. 800 is better than 0. Alright, so in this case, what do you call it? M10 also has M10 doesn't have a strictly dominant strategy. We've said that before, but there is a strictly dominated strategy there, which is 1000 naira. Like it is completely dominated by the 400 naira recharge. What do you call it? So yes, then let me. Uh, is this B? So let me just call this a C. So yes, MTN has a strictly dominated strategy. So and it is It is the 1000 recharge uh, strategy. Strategy. So dominated by which is dominated by 400 naira strategy. So it's only dominated by the 400 naira strategy. It's not dominated by 200 naira strategy because let me see. Or is it? So 1/8 is as good as 1/8. So you can't even call that a you can't call 1000 a strictly dominated strategy by 1/8 because by 200 rather, because they both have equal values here. 1/8 is equal to 1/8, so it's not it's better than it. Although 1/5 is better than 1/2 and 9 is better than 0, but 1/8 is equal to 1/8, so you can't they are not strictly there's nothing like strictly dominating one of them in that part. All right, so we are done with that question. So if so, which company strategy, which is it dominated by or are dominated by? Now, use the iteration elimination method of dominated strategies to determine whether there is a pure strategy Nash equilibrium or not. So, which is what we really want to like go to in this particular game. All right, so how do we do that? So, the way iteration works is that you will eliminate the strictly dominated strategy. So that's what you're going to do. It doesn't matter who. I don't think it really matters who goes first. The Nash equilibrium is going to be the same thing. So for now, that's what I think or I know. So it doesn't matter who goes first. All right. So let's look at this part. We've established that for let's assume that Ethel is the one that wants to go first. We've established that this strategy, right, is strictly dominated by surrender and final strategy. So that means Excel will never play the strategy. Why should they play strategy that is its weakest? So Excel will never play the strategy, and if Excel is not playing the strategy, so this is ruled out for Excel. All right. So as since that is ruled out, so we have to like withdraw the game. As you're drawing the new set of payoffs, like you need to be explaining. So in the first case, like when the whole thing was complete, the explanation would be that if Excel is the one that is choosing first, Excel will never play its 1000 naira recharge strategy because it is a strictly dominated strategy. So it will never play that, and that's cancelled out. So the new set of payoff is now this that you probably have in table 2 or matrix 2, right? So like you need to be explaining that way. So now that you've done that, let's see if there is another strictly dominated strategy here. Um, looking at Airtel, this is 2000, I think. This is 2000. 2000 is better than 1/8. 1/6 is better than 1/5, but 800 is not as good as 900. So we leave Airtel alone. So let's compare MTN. For MTN, is there a strictly dominated strategy? 2000 is better than 1/8. 1/6 is better than 1/5. Or 2000 is better than 1/8. 1/6 is better than 1/2. So that means MTN could decide to eliminate either of the strategies, can eliminate this one or that one, right? So it doesn't matter if we eliminate this, our final equilibrium is still going to be what it should be. If it eliminates the other guy, our final equilibrium is still what it's going to be. So it doesn't matter. So let's assume that when MTN realizes that this is better than this is better than this, it says I will never play this strategy. All right. So if MTN is not playing this strategy, it's not as if it's going to eliminate both of them at the same time. So what we'll be left with would be a situation where MTN would now have just the 400 strategy, 100 naira strategy, and the 1000 naira strategy, right? So since this has been ruled out, so for Airtel, Airtel still has its no, Airtel still has its 200 naira strategy and its 400 naira strategy. Okay, so normally I'm not, I've been trying to like do this since 1/5, 1/6, 900, 800, just to make things clearer. So, comma, so you have 2000, 1/6, 1/8, 1200. So, yeah, this is where we are now. So, you keep explaining again what brings us here. So, MZ doesn't play that strategy, and that. If MZ is never going to play this part, so what concerned them to play that part? So, yeah, let's look at this 1/5. We are comparing this strategy against strategy for Etel. 1.6 is better than 1.5, but 800 is not as good as 900. So like MTN, Etel is not going to do anything. But for MTN, 2,000 is better than 1.8, 1.6 is better than 1.2. Alright, so in that case, MTN 2 will not play this strategy. So that leaves us um, to MTN and Etel. Alright, I guess we could have just even canceled both of them from here, but I don't know if that's really supposed to like apply in an examination. I'm just trying to like do what is acceptable. Like I don't know, I'm not very sure. But like from here, but I've just struck this one and struck that one out like since 400 is better than both, but let's just use one step at a time. So we are going to be having the strategies of this guy. So he has 200 naira strategy, 400 naira strategy. Then MTN has 400, just 400. MTN is just left with 400 strategy. So we are going to be having this is 2000, this is 1006, and let me just strategy, and we have 1.5 as a payoff here, 1.6 as a payoff here. So which one we do exactly um, choose? So for MTN or for Airtel, 1.6 is better than 1.5, right? So MTN just has one strategy left, plus it's definitely playing 400, like that's just the point. But for Airtel, 1.6 here better than 1.5 here. All right. Remember, this is not for Airtel. This one is for MTN. So we just have like one set of payoffs left here. So since 1.6 is better than 1.5, Airtel strikes out this strategy. So and because Airtel is striking out that strategy, our equilibrium is now going to end where Airtel is playing its 400 naira strategy and MTN is also playing its 400 naira strategy. So the payoff at that point is equal. It's not necessarily the same for all games, but for this particular game, the payoff is equal. So yeah, that's it. That's it. So with that, we've been able to get our Nash equilibrium from eliminating the strictly dominated strategies. So yeah, what you can now do as an assignment is that for us it was Ether that moved first. So I want you to now do repeat the same thing as your assignment, but let MTN move first, and then let's see if you are going to like have the same equilibrium, or if there might be a little change in your equilibrium. So for MOD School of Economic students, you know how to submit your assignments. For the public that are just seeing this, well, just hope that your answers coincide or correlate with whatever it is that we actually have. So yeah, um that's it. So the equilibrium occurs where Airtel plays its 400 naira strategy and MTN also plays its 400 naira strategy. All right. So thank you for this lesson. See you again. Please do your assignments. God bless you. Bye.